again, everyone, it's Denise here to go through another card class tutorial. This one is not complicated, but there were a few different versions of it, so I'm going to show you both and then we're going to go through it together. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know I never really know if it's upside down or right side up, so I'm going to keep turning the card for you. I've made this slimline card into a side fold card, so the fold would be to your left. I suppose you could just, I'm going to turn it so that's top. You can turn it just as easily this way and make it a top fold and build your flowers down here instead. There's nothing wrong with that. It's your card, so be sure you make it your own. So I will tell you that I like it this way so you can see the opening here. Now, we did that in class together with a die, and we measured it out and had rulers and pencils and things. Now, some of the ladies did not want to do it because they didn't like that you could see through the card and they felt you couldn't write in the card, and that's a perfectly valid option. I just liked the way it looked without it, with it missing in the middle. And I'm okay with when I send someone a card to write it on the back. That's perfectly fine for me. I also had space on the bottom here, but it's going to be up to you. If you want to do this with a cutout in the center, I think I did, right? Nope, those are just stray marks. So if you wanted to do that with a cutout in the center, all you would do, I would do it this way, is place your card here. Decide what you want to do because you see that there's a bigger side, right? This side is smaller, thinner than that is, right? This is wider. So this is either going to be your side or your bottom. I don't recommend it being your top. So once you decide if your card is top fold or side fold, you can go right ahead. Just make yourself some registration marks with a pencil lightly. And you can either do the whole thing and then cut, open the card first, right? Cut with an X-Acto knife. If you have a die that's a little larger than this, you can do that as well. Or you can just leave it alone and glue it like the ladies did directly onto the front so that they didn't have any issues seeing through the card. So the choice is going to be yours. And when you do it that way, it looks like this. It looks just like this because it's a white background, right? And then you have the whole front of the card. So you have your card base. You have your layer. You've got probably two of these, what I'm going to call netting. You got a whole bunch of pearls. These pearls are for the points where they meet. You've got some leaves and some flowers. And we're going to start building. So the first thing that you're going to decide is if you want to cut out the panel and make it see-through from the front of your card or not. So if you are doing that, like I said, you're going to place this kind of central where you want it. Make some registration marks for yourself and either get a die that's a little bit larger than the registration marks and cut it, or cut it with an X-Acto knife. You can also glue this down and do it that way as well if that works better for you. I wanted it to be a little bit larger when I did it myself, but again, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's whatever works best for you and whatever you're more comfortable with. I also did foam tape on this layer. I didn't glue it flat down, but you can certainly glue it flat down. I just liked the look of a shadow for the netted part. I like that look better. Completely up to you. Before you glue this down though, you're going to want to glue these. So once you have made your decision about this, whatever you're going to do with it, you'll see that there's a good side and a back side, like not good side. You can feel it when you touch it. The back is going to be flatter. And the front just looks a little more raised, not really embossed, but raised, and you can feel that it's smoother. It's not like as flat, like it feels like the front. That's going to go face down. So you're going to add a little bit of Dry's Clear Glue here. And what I did with this is I simply overlap them a little bit. And you're not going to notice that they're overlapped because of the pearls. I overlapped them literally a tiniest of bits on the points. I overlapped it on, obviously, the back, right? So you're not really going to notice it from the front. And again, you're not going to notice that the, I guess those are diamonds, look any smaller in that row than any other row because you're just, again, adhering the tiniest of points overlapping there. And you're going to leave that to dry. Now, if you want to overlap them first before you glue it all down, go right ahead. That way you can wiggle it maybe a little bit better for yourself and feel a little bit better about it. When it's dry, bring it on over. And again, then glue it onto the back. Now, I'm not making this card with you, I should have said, because we are very limited. We started making fewer cards, so they're even more limited than they were in the previous videos that I've put up. So I don't want to waste a kit for somebody who may want the card, because if I use the kit, that's one less to sell, and we only really have a handful to begin with. So if anybody wanted one, or if you wanted another one, you would be able to have that as opposed to me just making another sample. So that's why I'm not building that with you. I apologize for not saying that. I've done a few videos this morning, so sometimes I forget to say it. All right, so once you have that done, it'll look like a neater version of this. At that point, you can pop it on the front of your card. Make sure, again, that that wider side is on the side that you want it, or the bottom. Again, I don't recommend it being at, if you're using it as a side fold card, so it's a slimline long ways, I just don't recommend the wide part being at the top, because it'll be top heavy with the flowers, because that's really where the space is for the flowers. But again, it is up to you. So you're going to take all this, then you're either going to pop dot it or you're going to glue it flat down. You always do the pearls last. Then you're going to get to your flowers. I used a yellow here. I don't remember which yellow. It looks like I used either a Memento or a Distress ink and not an Oxide ink, because they're lightly colored. But I could have used an Oxide that I used as a watercolor. Not the pencils that I kind of added. I smooshed the ink and then added a little bit of water on a watercolor brush. But I don't think so. You can use, though, whatever ink you have. It doesn't have to be yellow. It doesn't have to be the same green I used. I used lighter colors because this had a more Victorian feel to me with the paper. So you're going to do a few things at this point. You've got your 2 leaves. You've got your flowers. There is a flower shaping video elsewhere on the channel. I believe it covers coloring flowers, but that may be a separate video. So you're going to make sure that you have watched the video or videos on coloring flowers and flower shaping, because you're going to go off and do that. I'm not going to do that with you here. That way I don't have to waste the sample. So what you'll need is some kind of green ink for your leaves, whether that's a yellowy green or a regular green is up to you. Any brand, any kind of ink. You're going to need an ink color for your flowers. I would say something complementary to the pink, which is, I think, why I probably use the yellow also. But you can use pink. You can use whatever you'd like to, because it's your card. So you'll also need then some kind of coloring tool, whether that's a blending brush or an ink blending foam or daubers, finger daubers. You're going to need those for that video and to do this. You're also going to need your flower shaping kit, the stylus and the mat. And yes, it does make a difference, the right mat. If you don't have one of those, then you can just do these flat and build them that way. But if you want a kit, because we do a lot of flower shaping and they just look so much prettier. Christina has those available in the store, so you can go ahead and contact her to get that added to your next order. So go ahead on over. You're going to color these on the top sides, not the back. When you're done coloring and shaping, come on back and we'll build the flower. Take a look at the time where we are in the video so that you can just fast forward your way through, because isn't that the beauty of video? You can pause, you can rewatch, you can rewind, you can do whatever you need to do. I usually watch once through and then I go back because I always make mistakes. And I'm one of those people that has to follow the card exactly. So if you are, go ahead and do that. And if you're not, you like to go rogue, go for it. We love to see it. So mark the time and then come on back. I'm going to wait a second before I start again. Okay, so now you're back from coloring and building your flowers. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your flowers and we're going to start, I'm going to move this here. We're going to start building them. So you've got your two biggest, you've got your next size, and you've got your little one, right? And then you've got this left one. Yep. This is thick paper. This is that flower shaping paper from Heartfelt Creations. It's really good for this. Okay, so the way I did it was I built the flower like this. Now remember, when you glue, you're offsetting your petals. Make sure that you're pressing in between with that stylus so you get that little extra dimension, and also it gives you that little bump at the bottom so that it's easy to attach glue and gives you that little well for the pearls. The pearls are always last. In this case, I normally put my flowers first. But in this case, what I want to do is I want my leaves to go, because my flowers are a little bit smaller. I'm just going to pretend here. So it's not perfect, but you'll get it. So I'm going to place my leaves kind of where I want them. And it's definitely going to overlap some of the netting, and that's perfectly fine. I don't want it to overlap this part, this paper, too much, because I don't have a whole lot of wiggle room left with this. I have a little bit of room, so I can put it over a little bit. I would say less than 1/4 of an inch, because this fits in the number 10 envelope. So if anything spills over off of the card base, you're gonna have to fold it or trim it to get it in the envelope. So once I like where this is, I'm gonna take my flowers. I'm not gonna glue anything yet. I'm just gonna take my flowers and I'm gonna see where I like them. Now remember, my flowers are built and they're dry enough for me to move. This here, and once I like that, I'm going to take my flowers off. I'm going to glue down my leaves. I don't glue all my leaves. I put dots here and there. I don't like to put them on the leaves themselves. I like for them to be able to move, so I try to put it on the vines on this one, but again, just sporadically, because I want them to pop up as well. This is the beauty of a dries clear glue. And then I'm going to pop my flowers on. Now, you have two things that you can do here. You can either do all of your pearls before you've glued your leaves on, or you can do them after and save the extra pearls. Completely up to you. I do recommend one of those jewel picker-upper thingies. I'm sure there's a technical term for it, but that's what I call it. We do have a great one available at the store, so if you don't have one in your stash, you can, again, go ahead and contact Christina for that. But it's going to make it so much easier for you to pick up those little pearls and put them here. You've got just an itty-bitty dot of Dries Clear glue. Again, whether you're using Art Glitter Glue, Dries Clear, or the Bearly Arts glue. Pop it on in. And then when I do these, I do a couple rows at a time, because I know that I'm kind of quick with it. But if you're not that quick with it, then just put it for like 1 or 2 rows at a time, because you don't want that glue to dry and have to add more glue, because then your pearls won't lie flat on top of that, dried little mound of glue. So that becomes important as well. So once that's done, then you can go ahead and put the pearls in the middle of your flowers, because you've already adhered this. My card is messy, but your card is done, and your card likely looks beautiful, probably better than my sample, no doubt. So let us know over on the Facebook group if you've done the card. Let us see your sample, what colors you chose. We're very excited to see your take on it. Remember to join our group if you're not in it on Facebook. It's Scrapbooking Stuff Group. If this video was helpful for you, please go ahead and give a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you're notified as other tutorials are popped up in here. If you have any questions at all, please go ahead and put them in the Facebook group, because we don't usually monitor the YouTube channel comments. I hope this was helpful. I know it's a little more of a confusing card, but I'm sure you made it through just fine. I hope this was helpful. Thank you for supporting Long Island Craft Stop. Thank you for supporting my card classes. And I hope to see you again in a class soon. Have a great day, everyone.